Judge Erwin Tulfo, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Sa ating pong testigo, kahapon po nabanggit ho ninyo na meron na po kayong persons of interest na umanay kinausap na po ng VP Vice President Sara Duterte para patayin umano ang Pangulo, First Lady at former Speaker of the House. Ang tanong ko po, paano pala ho ninyo ito natalisod o natunto ng impormasyong ito? Gayong sa kanya pong press con, wala naman pong siyang sinabi kung sino mga taong ito. Sinabi niya lang na may kinausap na ho siya. How did you find out?
Ganito po yan, sa lahat naman po ng kaso na hinahawakan po ng National Bureau of Investigation para po maging successful yung aming pag-iimbestiga ay nagre-rely po kami sa iba't ibang intelligence report. Yun nga po may tinatawag tayong open source intel, human intelligence, and we also use tools to monitor things at titrim down po tayo niyan. Tinitingnan po natin hanggang dumating tayo doon sa punto na mayroon pong resolusyon yung ating pong kasong tinitingnan. With regards to po sa persons of interest, yung prosesong din yan po ang atin pong sinundan.
Okay. Without mentioning po kung sino itong mga tao na ito or yung pagkakilanlan nila, kung nasaan sila, maaari po ba ninyong bigyan kami ng ideya itong mga persons of interest na ito? Kung ano po talaga ang trabaho nila, kung sila po ba talaga yung mga hitman o mga gun for hire o riding in tandem, ano ho ang klaseng trabaho meron itong mga ito?
Well, siguro po ganito, although I cannot reveal so much in the identity, but going to the process na sinasabi ko nga po, so we're using informants. May mga sinusundan po tayo. Ang una-una ng ating pong tinignan dyan, yun nga pong sinabi na kumausap ng papatay at yung pong papatay ay pumayag na. So, ano pong ginawa natin dito? Tinignan na natin kung sang spear po papasok, sino ba yung pwede, saan ba pwedeng nanggaling yon? Hindi kagad sino, saan po ba pwedeng nanggaling yon? At lumalabas po rito, alam natin yung kasaysayan, malawak po ang kanyang tinatawag na connection, yung network po. Alam naman natin, siya ay Vice Presidente at ang dating Pangulo ay kanyang ama. Ibig sabihin, nakadevelop po ito ng mga relasyon. Unang-una na sa mga men in uniform na hanggang sa ngayon, marami po rito na na-appoint pa niya nung panahon na sila ay nandiyan. Nandiyan din po, binanggit ko yung Vice President Sara sa security group at yung pong mga Davao Death Squad. So, tinignan po natin at tinignan by process of elimination yung mga tao po na maaaring dun nang galing or maaaring nakakaalam. And by process of elimination, nag-start po kami maraming individuals hanggang sa matrim down po namin ng matrim down hanggang sa ngayon. Kaya sinabi ko po kahapon sa kagalang-galang sa katanungan ng ating Senate President po, gaano ba katagal pa to? And I said, we have great progress. Dahil lang simula po kami sa marami ngayon na trim down na po namin sa iilan na personalidad po.
Okay, pangalawa sa huling katanungan ko po, Ginoong Testigo, ay ito pong threat na ito po hanggang ngayon ay continuing threat po ito or pwedeng i-execute anytime ng mga sinasabi ninyong persons of interest?
Yun na po yung atin pong pangamba na nakikita. Because hindi po natin nakukuha, sigurado po tayo na may kinausap at pumayag, subalit yung pagkakakilanlan ng taong kinausap ay hindi pa rin po natin nakukuha. So ibig sabihin po, yung threat po na ito sa Pangulo is a continuing and active threat po and serious. So yun po yung gusto nating i-address dito.
Panguling katanungan na lamang, Mr. Witness, naimpormahan na po ba ang Pangulo at ang kanyang PSG para alam ho nila ang kanilang gagawin at hindi po sila malingat sa kanilang seguridad?
Meron po kaming tuloy-tuloy na pakikipag-ugnayan sa ating sa palasyo po. I will not mention who exactly yung mga kausap po namin doon, but there's always continuing threat assessment po na ginagawa po kami.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Presiding Officer, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo. Senator Judge Lacson. Thereafter, we will recognize first, with the indulgence of Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo, the lead prosecutor for her manifestation. As I understand, she asked for time for a huddle to determine whether she will still conduct redirect. So, Senator Judge Lacson is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Follow-up lang ito doon sa mga points raised by Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo kahapon relating to 3 similar cases. Ronald Mas, Mayor Baste Duterte, saka VP Sara. Hindi ko na bibelabor yung Ronald Mas and Mayor Baste kasi aware naman ako doon sa Rule 113 Section 5, yung sa warrantless arrest, na hindi pwedeng apply. Nagkamali nga yung NBI kay Ronald Mas, kaya na-dismiss yung case, di po ba? But I'm more interested in the cases of Mayor Baste at saka kay VP Sara. Kasi almost similar yung kanilang mga sinabi, pero I'm just wondering why you did not investigate Mayor Baste, pero si Mayor Sara, hindi lang kayo nag-investigate, nag-repair pa kayo ng complaint sa DOJ, hindi po ba?
Yun po yung amin pong ginawang investigasyon ay doon na po sa threat na sinasabi namin na pangkalawakan. Yung dito po kay Mayor Baste, kaya hindi po natin na inimbestigahan, isinasama po namin dito sa task force na ito to come out with the report eventually. But we have coordination also po with other agencies.
Yes. So walang ongoing law enforcement investigation against Mayor Baste?
Kasama po dito sa ano po namin sa special task force po.
Yung bang special task force, and this was, this was also raised by the presiding officer nung nasa lounge kami kanina, na-form ba ito in relation to or in reference to the case of Mayor Baste o kay Vice President Sara?
Yung pong trigger point na nangyari dito ay yung pong kay Mayor Baste po. But prior to that, we are continually monitoring the threat. Kasama po sa aming pag-uusap yan. In fact, yung pong aming reporting ng records as early as nung nag-assume po ako ng February, mga first week pa lang po ng March, kasama na po sa reporting yung mga threat assessment. But nung napansin po namin na itong rage rally na to can escalate to a bigger threat to the national security, dun po namin ipinasok ito.
So mas ang ginamit nyo yung kay Mayor Baste as an open source kesa sa mag-file kayo ng criminal complaint against Mayor Baste?
Ganun po yung naging process namin dito. But eventually, we have an agreement within us that if we can establish that the elements for grave threat will be there, we will be contemplating also on filing a grave threat and inciting to sedition as well.
Pero halos pareho kaya iniisip ko, baka meron double standard. Bakit kayo nag-focus kay Vice President pero hindi nyo in-apply kay Mayor Baste? Halos pareho sinabi nila na maliwanag naman bukod doon sa January 2026 na ulit pa ng April 12, di ba? Na sinabing Romanov, threat against the first family, nasundan pa ng pupugot, ang kailangan lang namin yung ulo. So pero kay Vice President, halos ganun din Pero bakit inimbestigahan nyo kay Vice President Sara at na-refer nyo na sa DOJ for PI, pero yung kay Mayor Baste parang unlevel, nasa law enforcement investigation pa rin?
Sapagkat ang isa pong dinedevelop namin dito na jury po is yung sabwatan. And alam po natin, if we go to court using the theory of conspiracy, medyo mas mahirap po na ipasok na kaso. Kaya it taking much time to develop the case po.
May request for additional time, Mr. Presiding Officer. Punta lang ko kay Las Cañas.
Opo.
Okay. Yung kay Las Cañas, ginamit nyo yung kanyang affidavit na sinabit sa ICC.
Tama po.
Parang pang-open source.
Tama
Not for
po, sir.
anything, di ba?
Not for anything po.
So
yes,
walang
sir.
evidentiary value ito.
Yun po ay ang basehan namin, kaya po namin iprinisinta. Isa po sa naging basehan namin dun po sa, isa nga dun sa 5 standards po natin na pattern of violence po.
Pero wala kayong intention na kung magpapile kayo ng kaso, isasabit yung affidavit niya na sinabit sa ICC.
As a matter of reference lang po for the purposes of establishing the pattern of violence. But to directly papanagutin po sa isang criminal or what, sa palagay ko po baka po hindi ito tatanggapin ng korte po.
Yeah, kasi kung open source, hindi nga tatanggapin ng korte.
Tama po.
Kasi kung open source, kung nag-extend pa kayo and expand nyo yung open source information gathering, dapat sana nireview nyo rin yung aming committee hearing dito. No? Yung na-mention kanina ng defense na initially, deny talaga si Arturo Las Cañas tungkol sa DDS, EJK, etc. Eventually, nag-retract siya talagang 180 degrees. No? Sinabi niya, totoo yung EJK. Hindi ba dapat part din yun ng open source information gathering ninyo?
Tama po. Actually, nung binasa po namin yung affidavit, may isang paragraph doon na nagtukoy nga dyan na nag-testify at binawi. Ang sinundan na po namin dito, at naalala ko po, meron kasing new report do sa 24 oras after ng pre-trial po sa ICC. Nagkaroon po ng interview kay Las Cañas kung saan sinasabi niya yung affidavit na ginawa niya na isinabit sa ICC at nung kinukumpara po namin doon sa sinasabi niya, lumalabas na yun po.
Pangatlo na po yon.
So,
Alam nyo, iba yung affidavit niya, yung kanyang testimony sa Public Order and Legal Drugs Committee, which as I said earlier, I chaired. No? Kaya alam ko yung familiar ako. And then after that, nag-retract siya. Talagang complete turnaround.
Tama po.
So I even consulted a retired justice na kaibigan ko, ano bang mas patimbang dito? Ang sabi niya, ang talagang jurisprudence, yung original na statement, ang mananaig, kesa doon sa parang binaligtad na statement, which I also agreed. Ang point ko lang is, bakit parang namili lang kayo ng open source?
Tiningnan po
Kung
namin.
tinignan nyo yung sa ICC na sabit na pagkahaba-haba, sa akin nga po sinabi kanina, pangatlo na po yung magkaibang affidavits ni Arturo Las Cañas. May nauna, may pangalawa, pangatlo na po itong pinapakita sa screen kahapon.
Tama po. And we are also aware dun sa pagbalibaligtad. But on the news that I was mentioning po, Your Honor, mismong sinabi niya, pipirmahan yung affidavit. At sinabi po niya, this is 186 pages. So nang tinitingnan po namin, yung statement na yan, tumugma. At pangalawa, it's been the subject already of an ICC. It's being used as an evidence. At least there is a legitimate court that looking into it, which it was considered na ibig sabihin, tinanggap po ng isang lehitimo na korte po.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to be fair, ano?
Apo.
Kasi gusto ko talagang maliwanagan para pagdating ng takdang oras, alam ko yung aking boto.
Tama
Maraming
po.
salamat po.
Salamat
Thank
po.
you, Senator Judge Lacson. Before the chair recognizes Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo, Senator Judge Aquino, and Senator Judge Padilla, Chair will not... sorry, I forgot about you, Senator Judge Pangilinan, before Senator Judge Bam. Chair would like to call on the lead prosecutor again. Thank you for the sequence. Yes, what is the pleasure of the lead prosecutor? Shall you conduct redirect?
Your Honor, the prosecution believes that we have sufficiently established that the threat to the President constitutes
Objection, Your Honor.
threat to the national
Again, Your
security.
Honor, inconsistent.
Counsel, you are once again reminded to kindly avoid
Yes, Your Honor.
conclusions of law. The question was simple, so I guess you will not conduct any further redirect.
Nonetheless, Your Honor, there are some manifestations that I would like to make.
As long as these are not conclusions of fact and law, Counsel, as
Yes,
you have
Your
been reminded and guided accordingly. You may proceed.
It is the position, Your Honor, of the prosecution that we have established already.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, this is a conclusion of fact and law, Your Honor.
Counsel, the counsel for respondent is correct. I will give the same limitation to whatever manifestations he will make in this regard. Let me do it for you. I guess you're not conducting any redirect anymore because you're
I have another
satisfied
manifestation, Your Honor.
and you're contented with the witness given, with the testimony rather given by the witness you presented. What is your second manifestation?
Nais ko
Prosecutor?
lamang pong liwanagin, Your Honor, kaugnay ng affidavit ni Arturo Las Cañas. Ito po ay ipresenta ng prosecution bilang bahagi ng testimonya ng witness, kagaya na po ng sinabi ng presiding officer ng 3 ulit, pinayagang ipresenta ang affidavit ni Las Cañas bilang bahagi ng testimonya at bilang bahagi ng naging investigation ng Special Task Force ng National Bureau of Investigation. It was never claimed by the prosecution that this affidavit is notarized. Kailanman po ay hindi sinabi ng prosecution na notarized ang dokumentong ito. Ito po'y ipresenta bilang bahagi lamang ng testimonya ng witness at bilang bahagi din ng investigation ng NBI. To conclude, Your Honor.
Short rejoinder on that, Your Honor.
The lead prosecutor is not yet finished.
To conclude, Your Honor, the prosecution finds it unnecessary.
Objection, Your Honor. Same
Allow
ground.
the lead prosecutor to finish.
The prosecution finds it unnecessary to conduct redirect examination.
Thank you, counsel. Duly noted.
Just
Do you
a
still
short-
want a rejoinder?
Just a
counsel,
short
for respondent?
rejoinder on the Las Cañas
Yes,
issue.
counsel.
Again, Your Honor, according to the rules, an affidavit must be testified to and identified by the person or the author of that affidavit. And in this case, such was not done. So, and an additional manifestation, Your Honor, that considering that it is unsigned and unnotarized, the law considers it as a mere scrap of paper. That's just a manifestation. And
Then let instead of letting this be an ongoing argument between both counsels, let the chair state.
Your
for
Honor,
the-
may I just correct the manifestation
No
of the
need,
defense.
counsel. Let the chair state for the fourth time. The affidavit of Las Cañas was not offered as an authentic document executed by the affiant. Only that it was part of the documents used by Director Matibag in his open source investigation, as also clarified for the fifth time, if I will count it, by Senator Judge Lacson, that it was only part of the investigation of the NBI through what is called an open source investigation. Again, to reiterate, not as proof that of its authenticity and the truth of the contents contained in the affidavit or document purporting to be executed by Las Cañas.
And
Let
that it is signed, Your Honor.
let that be the end of it, counsels, if you may. And we can proceed to the interventions and interjections of senator judges. Forgive my inadvertence earlier. Chair will recognize in this order, in the order that they indicated to the chair, as pointed out by the clerk of court, Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo, Senator Judge Villanueva, Senator Judge Pangilinan, Senator Judge Aquino, and Senator Judge Padilla as of now. Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo is recognized for his interventions. You may proceed, sir, when you are ready. You have 2 minutes.
Mr. Witness, kahapon naitanong ko sa inyo yung kaso ni Ronel Mas. Ngayon, tatanong ko sa inyo, pamilyar ho ba kayo sa kaso ni Ronald Kibuyen, Maria Catherine Seron, and Joe Mark Ebcay?
Narinig ko po sila.
Ano po yung pagkakarinig mo sa kaso?
Sila po ay inaresto ng PNP, CIDG. Yung isa po sa, I think it's an Osamis dahil meron siyang nagsabi na patayin si dating Pangulong Duterte at nag-offer ng 100 million na reward. Yung naman pong ubayan sa Boracay yata, may offer din. I'm not mistaken, 150 million po yata na reward.
So, itong tatlo po, sa pagkakalam niyo, ano mga trabaho nito?
Yung isa po, construction worker, hindi ko po maalala yung isang.
Yung isa ay unemployed college graduate.
Ayun.
So, the reason why I asked that, kasi tulad ni Ronel Mas, isang teacher, at itong tatlo, mga ordinary mamayan, i-compare natin dun sa ginawa ni VP Sara at saka ni Mayor Baste sa ating Pangulo, pagbabanta almost the same yung nangyari. So, kamay na bakal ang pinairal kapag mga ordinaryong mahirap na mamayan ang pinapairal ninyo dyan sa law enforcement. Pero kapag makapangyari ang mga tao, you treat them with kids' gloves. Why is that?
Respectfully po, Your Honor, unang-una, I cannot speak to the behavior of the law enforcement at that time. But I agree with you na yung pag-aresto po sa kanila is warrantless arrest. That's the reason why na-dismiss po lahat ng kaso na yon. Yung sa ngayon naman po, yung mga pangyayari na ito, we go to the case build up and file a case. Katulad po nung nangyari kay Vice Presidente, meron pong nakapending ngayon na kaso. At kung ito po ay may file sa korte, that is the time that the court will issue a warrant of arrest. So meron po tayong prosesong sinusunod po.
Mali nga yung pagka-aresto. Actually, warrantless arrest yung nangyari noon. Pero meron bang nag-utos why it was done by the law enforcement people at that time? And what's the difference between the law enforcement back then and the law enforcement people now?
Well, I can only speak po for my bureau ng NBI. We are making sure that we are following the process and the law. In any case, wala pong malaki o maliit na kaso. Ang tinitingnan po lagi natin dito ay ang ebidensya, ang batas at ang prosesong dapat pong sundin.
Okay. I'll give you an example. Halimbawa, yung nangyari ngayon na pagbabanta sa ating Pangulo, nangyari noon sa panahon ni Pangulong Duterte at nagbanta si Leni Robredo. Halimbawa lang, of course, Leni Robredo would not do that kasi I know, wala sa karakter niya. Nagbanta si Leni Robredo kay Pangulong Duterte at matindi yung outburst niya at pagbabanta. At ganun din naggawa ng follow-up ang kanyang anak. What would have happened? Sa tingin niyo ba, possible na merong gagawang pag-aresto si PRD tulad ng ginawang pag-aresto dun sa mga teachers, sa teacher, construction worker, at unemployed college graduate?
Well, respectfully, it's calling for an opinion but siguro meron po akong pwedeng pagbasihan. Base na rin po sa inyong sinasabi na construction worker, teacher ay inaresto dahil sa banta, posible po. May possibility na baka arestuhin po kaagad ang Vice Presidente noon.
Thank you, Mr. Witness.
Thank you, Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo. Senator Judge Villanueva, may proceed with his interjection when he's ready. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, Mr. President. Just two quick questions to our dear witness. Your Honor, malaking bahagi po, Director Matibag, nung sa talakayan dito sa korte at ng buong sambayanan, whether or not natukoy na ba yung sinasabing alleged tinutukoy ng pangalawang Pangulo doon po sa kanyang video. At binanggit niyo po na may inaasahan po kayong development sa loob ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan. Maaari po ba niyong paliwanag, Director, sa pangkalahatan lamang po kung ano po yung layunin ng mga natitira pang bahagi sa investigasyon po ninyo? Just to clarify lang po, no? Kasi when you testified that the individual's identity will become clearer, does it mean, sir, that the Bureau is now focused on confirming or verifying the identity of a particular individual referred to by the respondent rather than determining whether such person exists in the first place? Kumbaga po, yung tanong lamang po dito, sinasagot po ay sino na yung kinontrata rather than hindi po yung meron nga bang kinontrata?
Your Honor, 2 bagay po para makarating po tayo dun sa kasagutan sa inyo pong katanungan. Una, sinabi ko nga po with certainty, meron kinontrata. Ano po yung basihan? Mismong ang Vice Presidente na publicly, it is an extrajudicial admission na tinanggap na niya at sinabi na niya na meron akong kinausap na mag-assassin o mamamatay tao para patayin ang presidente at siya ay pumayag. So that is an admission na meron po. Pangalawa, bakit po natin tinutukoy at tinahanap? Dito na po pumapasok yung kailangan natin siyang makuha, hindi upang sabihin na kami talaga ay nag-usap ni Vice Presidente. Kasi yun naman pong sinasabi ko nga, yung pag-uusap na may papatay at hindi naman nagawa, wala naman po tayong pinag-uusapan na krimen doon. Pero ano po ba ang tinutugunan namin sa paghahanap namin sa tao na yon, sa individual na yon? Yun na po yung sinasabi namin that we have to address the issue of national security, the safety of the President, which is a primary mandate of the National Bureau of Investigation. So pagkat ang banta po sa Pangulo, kapag ito ay seryoso tulad po nitong banta na ito, ito rin po ay magdadaos ng ligalig, kaguluhan at disrespect po sa ating law and order. And that is the very purpose of the existence of the National Bureau of Investigation.
Yung binanggit nyo na may mga persons of interest, so yun nga po, no? Tinutumbok na po nito na nandun na po kaya kayo dun sa sino ang kinontrata rather than meron nga bang kinontrata.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Director Matibag. Nabanggit niyo po kahapon din yung parte ng network ng respondent na tinatawag na Davao Death Squad. Batay po ito dun sa ebidensyang nakalap po ninyo, sabi niyo sa NBI, at meron po kayong nakikitang impormasyon na nagsasabi gusto kong malaman kung meron po kayong nakikitang impormasyon na nagsasabi na aktibo pa rin po ba ito noong 2024 kaya naging part ito ng inyong assessment sa kapasidad ng respondent?
Sa amin po investigasyon lumalabas na meron pa pong mga existing. At katunayan, without naming names, ganito po, ilagay na natin sa konteksto na nagsimula po kami sa maraming pangalan and we narrowed it down. Siguro ito na inaantay ng marami rin na finally ma-identify natin. We are narrowing it down already to less than 20 individuals at may mga pangalan na po kami nito. Sa katunayan po, yung iba po rito, kausap na po namin yung kanilang mga pamilya o kakilala. So, ganun po yung proseso. That's why sinabi ko, baka in 3 to 6 months, we can finally identify kung sino yung personalidad na yun po.
Let me wind up, Mr. Presiding Officer. No, in relation again to the Davao Death Squad that we were talking about, aktibo pa po ba sila noong 204? Aktibo pa rin po ba sila sa kasalukuyan sa inyong nagpapatuloy na investigasyon? Tinatanong po natin ito, Ginoong Pangulo, para malaman natin kung yung ginamit po ng National Bureau of Investigation ay base lamang dun sa historical background na binabanggit po kahapon o meron po na nakalap na mga bagong impormasyon ang NBI na hiwalay na impormasyon tungkol po dito.
Well, again, kanina po tinanong po ng kagalang-galang Senator Erwin Tulfo, we are not limiting it to the double death squad. Sabi ko nga po, meron pong mga aktibo pa sa serbisyo na men in uniforms at kasama rin po dito ang Vice President Sara Security Group po.
So even those who are actively involved right now in men in uniform, is that what you're saying?
That is something that I can say because general naman, it will
Kindly
not go
wind
to the
up.
identity.
Yeah, that will be
Meron
all,
po.
Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you, Director
Salamat
Matibag.
po.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Villanueva. Senator Judge Aquino is recognized. You may proceed, sir, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Doon po sa AO11, nakalagay po doon yung mga miyembro ng task force, no? At yung isang miyembro po doon ay mula sa Transnational Crime Division.
Opo.
Nabanggit nyo po nung isang araw na nasa punto na po kayo sa inyong investigasyon na chine-check po ninyo kung hindi lang ito isang tao pero kumbaga grupo na po ito or may plot, may ploy, may nagkukuntsaba para dito po sa posibleng pagpatay kay President Marcos. So nagtataka lang po ako sa EO11 kasama yung Transnational Crime Division. So my question is, sa inyo pong investigasyon, meron bang transnational nature itong posibleng pagpatay sa presidente? Meron bang foreign intervention or mga players na hindi po Pilipino sa inyo pong investigasyon?
Yan po ay isang sa purpose talaga kung bakit namin isinama para alamin kung sino po. Alam naman po natin, para patayin ng isang presidente, hindi po isa o dalawang tao lang nag-uusap dito. You need yung kakayahan mo, yung capacity doon po pumapasok. Kailangan ng pera, kailangan ng network, kailangan ng tao. So tinitingnan po natin ito lahat. Ngayon yung binabanggit po ninyo, kasama po sa ating tinitingnan yan. Pero ang isa pong mayoryang rason yan, yung pong mga pagbabiyahe ng ating Pangulo, we have to also monitor it because the possibility of endangering the life of the President during his time that is outside of the country, nandoon din po yan dahil sa threat.
So kaklaruhin ko lang ha. So yung pagkakaroon ng Transnational Crime Division dahil yan sa mga biyahe ng presidente, hindi dahil merong possible foreign intervention dito sa iniimbestigahan yung pagpaplano.
That is also an angle being considered but that's not the main reason po.
Alright, salamat.
Thank you, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Judge Padilla.
Meron po akong katanungan para sa prosecution, sa akin pong mga kaibigan sa prosecution. Napakahalaga po sa bawat pagdinig ay yung nagsasabi ng katotohanan. Tama po ba?
Tama po.
Opo. Pagka ang isang witness po ay naging halimbawa ng paiba-iba ang sinasabi, ano pong tawag dito? Di ba po kasinungalingan?
This is a hypothetical question,
Apo.
Your Honor. You are not referring to any particular witness?
Si Las Cañas po. Yung inyo pong pinakitang affidavit,
Your Honor?
alam niyo po, hindi pa po ako tapos, kaibigan. Alam niyo po, napakalungkot po para sa amin na marinig na meron kayong ibinigay na affidavit na nabahiran dito po sa loob ng Senado. Dito sa plenaryo ng Senado ay nabahiran ng matinding masasabi nating kasinungalingan sapagkat magkaiba ang kanyang sinabi. October 3, 2016, sinabi niya walang kinalaman ang Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. February 20, March 6, na iba na ang istorya. Ang tanong ko po, ano ang tawag sa taong paiba-iba ang sinasabi? Di ba po sinungaling?
May I answer, Your Honor?
Opo.
Kagaya po ng aking binigyang linaw kanina at paulit-ulit na rin pong sinabi ng ating presiding officer.
Pakisagot na lang po kasi yun lang po ang tanong. Tama po ba o mali na tawaging sinungaling ang taong iba-iba ang sinasabi?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I need to qualify my answer.
Mr. Presiding Officer, isang simpleng tanong lang po.
The lead prosecutor may agree or disagree or state a different characterization. I can state a different characterization if I'm asked by the good Senator Judge. You may disagree or agree with the
Your
statement
Honor.
of the Honorable Senator Judge Padilla. Feel free to say no or yes, Counsel.
Kagalang-galang ng mga senator judges at sa atin pong mga nanonood na kababayan. Dahil binanggit po ng kagalang-galang na Senador Robin Padilla ang pangalan at ang affidavit ni Arturo Las Cañas, nais ko pong linawin ang kanina ko pong manifestasyon. Ito po ay ipresenta sa impeachment court bilang bahagi
Ginoong
ng
presiding
testimonya
officer,
ng witness.
Hindi pa din po sinasagot ang
Lead prosecutor, the response, it's not responsive to the question of Senator Judge Padilla. Allow me to, if the good Senator Judge will allow the presiding officer, pwede ba nating sabihin, lead prosecutor, na ang testigong pabago-bago ang kanyang testimonya sa magkakaibang petsa o araw o panahon ay isang testigong hindi maaasahan.
Without particular reference to Arturo Las
Sa
Cañas,
pangkalahatan,
I agree with you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Posible nagsisinungaling siya sa isa, nagsasabi ng totoo sa isa, o nagsisinungaling sa isa, nagsasabi ng totoo sa isa, hindi na natin malalaman yun. Tama po ba yun?
Without particular reference to Arturo Las Cañas, I agree with you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, aming ginoong
You may proceed,
tagapamahalang
Senator
hukom.
Judge Padilla.
Opo. Kasi po, katulad po ng sinabi ng aming Senator Judge, 10,000 hours, Pampilo Lacson, napakaliwanag po ng sinabi niya. At kami din po dito, ako po mismo ay gumawa din ng panukala na dapat yung mga nagsisinungaling dito, yung mga paiba-iba ng testimony na nagiging aming mga witness, ay dagdagan dapat ang sintensya ng perjury. Kailangan amendahan ang batas na yan. Ngayon, bilang pakiusap po sa inyo, sa prosecution, pwede po ba na sana ay maiwasan natin ang pagbibigay ng witness na may kasong perjury? Hindi na po ito si Las Cañas. Ang sinasabi ko po ay yung dalawang mahal nating witness, si Attorney Jeremy Lotok at si NBI Agent Talilong, na sa mga oras na ito ay may kasong hinaharap na perjury. Pwede po bang iwasan natin na may mga ganito tayong witness para ang nasasakdal po kasi dito ay ibinoto ng 32 million na tao. Sana po, aming mga mahal na kaibigan sa prosecution, ay isipin nating mabuti bago po tayo magbigay ng mga witness na may perjury na kaso o nagkaroon po kami ng dahilan na gumawa ng amenda na itong perjury ay amendahan. Pwede po ba yon?
Your Honor, with all due respect, I would like to take exception to the question and manifestation of the Honorable Senator Judge Robin Padilla. First of all, we were able to verify already that there are no cases pending against the prosecution witnesses. In addition, Your Honor, and only to respond to the concern of the Honorable Senator Judge Padilla, ang conviction po ay hindi ground for disqualification unless it is final and unless it is punishable by more than 1 year and that the crime constitutes moral turpitude.
Alam niyo po, napakaganda po ng inyong sagot. Sana hindi one-sided ang ating persecution. Ano? Kasi alam niyo, pag kayo ang pagpabor sa inyo, alam niyo bawal po ang ginagawa.
Kindly maintain
Presiding
order
officer,
within the
bawal
court.
po ang ginagawa nitong nasa harap natin, nagkukomento.
Kindly maintain order in the court. The Sergeant at Arms, by authority of the Senate President, is directed to kindly maintain
Hindi po
order in the
sila
court.
allowed mag-ingay. Korte po ito.
Thank you. You may proceed, Senator Judge. Who was speaking?
Ako po.
You may proceed, Senator Judge.
I was
Padilla.
interrupted.
With due apologies.
So, ibig niyo pong sabihin, yung mga senator judges dito ngayon na humaharap sa kaso na hindi po pinapayagan ng ombudsman at hindi pa rin sila guilty, ano pong ibig niyo sabihin?
Your Honor, with all due respect, ang question niyo po kanina ay kaugnay ng pagtistigo.
Testigo nga,
Referring to
judges
the
nga yung
witnesses of
sinasabi
the
prosecution,
Your Honor.
Ang usapan po ay yung guilty or not guilty. Okay? So, tatanong na po ako ng bago. Pwede po ba?
May I be clarified, Your Honor, on your last question about the senator you said are facing cases?
Lead counsel, I think that was more
Alam
of
niyo
a...
po, malinaw na po yung sinabi ko and wala po kayong karapatan magtanong
Hindi,
sa Senator Judge.
diliwanagin ko nga po. I think Senator Judge Padilla was making a manifestation and not posing a question to the lead prosecutor in relation to our two colleagues. You may proceed, Senator Judge Padilla.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong tagapamahalang hukom. Pwede na po ba tayong mag-advance ng katanungan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Apo. Yung pong sinasabi ninyo, bakit nyo po nababanggit ang ICC dito? Ano po ang kinalaman ng ICC dito sa ating pagdinig?
With all due respect, Honorable Senator Judge Robin Padilla, kagaya po ng nabanggit ko na at marahil panglima ng banggit ng presiding officer. Nabanggit po ang ICC, kaugnay ng affidavit ni Las Cañas na ipirinisinta po ng prosecution bilang bahagi lamang ng testimonya ng witness at bilang bahagi ng naging investigasyon ng Special Task Force ng NBI.
Maraming salamat po.
Senator Judge Padilla will please wind up. You can
Opo.
avail of a second round if you wish.
Opo. Maraming salamat po. So, ibig pong sabihin, malinaw na kanina sinabi natin
What
na
is the
hindi
pleasure
siya...
of with the permission of Senator Judge and indulgence of Senator Judge Padilla, what is the pleasure of Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo?
Walang mic. Kay Senator Padilla. Bakit pag sa kabila pinapayagan sila 5-10 minutes, bakit pag sa amin, sa majority, kinakat agad ni remind pagdating ng 2 minutes? I think nakakalata na kami. So dapat pag sinabing 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Pag sa amin sa majority, pag 2 minutes, pinipindot nito. 2-3 beses. Totoo yan. Pero pag sa minority, umaabot na ng 5 minutes, 10 minutes. At meron akong record yan. Pinapayagan. Why? Thank you.
The comments of Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo is recognized. However, the chair would like to point out that in the impeachment court, there is no majority nor minority. We are all senator judges. And Senator Lacson earlier requested also an additional time to finish his point, which the chair allowed. That's why the chair reminded Senator Judge Padilla to wind up because his time already lapsed.
Kaya nga, Mr. Presiding Officer, I'm sorry, I do have a lot of respect in you. Yung sa akin lang, kahit na sino senador, kapag dating na ng 2 minutes, pinipindutan ng bell eh. Ako ilang beses na ako nang pindutan ng bell. Nakakairita eh. Samantalang yung iba, hindi pinipindutan ng bell, umabot pa ng 5 minutes. I'm not referring to anybody here now. Yun lang yun eh. Kaya nga kuminsan, binubulungan ko na nandiyan eh. Oy, pindutin mo na yung bell para naman makapagsalita yung iba. Yun lang po. Wala na akong tinutukoy dito. Dapat maging fair tayo yung sa nagpipindot ng bell. Pag sinabing 2 minutes regardless kahit na sinong senador yan. Thank you.
The clerk of court is instructed to kindly relate to the bell ringer to kindly be consistent in doing the polite reminder to the senator judges with respect to the time allotted.
Sir Presiding
Senator
Officer.
Judge
Yes.
Cayetano Alan.
No, I take the comments of Senator Tulfo in order. I respect your opinion, but just to put on record, as you said, Senator Lacson a while ago asked for more time, binigay. Walang bell yon. Yesterday, 2 bell sa akin. 2 o 3?
Dalawa lang ang bilang ko.
2 lang bilang mo. And maybe the solution is that after the first, isang bell na lang, pero kasi from the start of the impeachment trial, we asked the presiding officer at sabi mo nga, liberality, because then if we can't ask questions, baka magkaroon ng motion or mas lalong tatagal. Maybe you've been doing it naman, but yun nga, yung just ask to wrap up. But konting, we all want to get back to work. There's so much that we want to do. At least wala ngang majority-minority, but at least wala ngang threat ng kaso sa majority. Kami magsalita dito, parang may sword sa aming nakatutok. So, konting pagbibigay din sa amin ng konting liberality din sa pagtatanong. Yes. But in accordance with the rules, tama naman po yung sinabi ni Senator Tulfo.
The presiding officer shall take in advisement the points raised by Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo as well as the point raised by Senator Judge Allen. And in that spirit, kindly wind up, Senator
Opo.
Judge Padilla.
Ginoong tagapamahalang hukom, nais ko lamang pong sagutin ang ating kaibigan na si Senator Rafi Tulfo. Sandali lang po. Kaibigan, mas mahaba kasi yung sagot ng ating prosecution. Ako po ay nagtatanong lamang ng oo ba o hindi. Pasensya na po.
Kindly wind up, Senator Judge Padilla, but you're gonna
Opo.
bail of the
Maraming
second round
salamat
if there's
po.
one.
Tatalon na po ako. Dito na po ako sa aking kaibigan. Maraming salamat po, kaibigan. Sa akin pong kaibigan, kay Attorney Matibag, mahal na saksi. Mabilis lang po ito. Ako po ay napunta sa PDP Laban dahil po sa inyo.
Tama po.
Opo. Kayo po ang kumimbinsi sa akin.
Tama po. Campaign manager nyo pa po.
Opo. At masasabi po natin na isa kayo sa nagpa-number 1 po sa akin.
Tama po. Sa lugar po namin, number 1 po kayo.
Opo. Attorney Matibag, sumama po ako sa inyo dahil alam ko na isa po kayo sa arkitekto ng pagkapanalo ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Tama po ba?
Hindi po. Sapagkat noong 2016, ako po ay ang campaign manager ng Region 4A ni Secretary Mar Rojas po.
Ayun. So hindi po kayo connected nung panahon na yon kay Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte?
Hindi po.
Opo. Kung kayo po ay nagtatrabaho sa mga iba't ibang politiko, kayo po ba ay matatawag na political analyst o political ano pang tawag po doon? Yung mga nagsasagawa, nagpapatakbo ng politika ng bawat politiko?
Well, maaari pong matawag na tayo ay tumutulong sa ating pinaniniwalaan na kung sino po ang dapat manungkulan sa ating bayan.
Opo. Ibig pong sabihin, pwede po kayong gumawa ng isang kandidato at manalo.
Makatulong lang po. Sapagkat ang paniwala ko po, hindi naman po isang tao, lalo na ako, ang magpapanalo ng isang kandidato.
Opo. So ngayon po, masasabi po natin na pwede po kayong magtrabaho bilang isang political operator?
Ano po bang konteksto ng political operator? Ang ibig ko po sabihin, ako po ay nasasama sa isang political party noon. So tumutulong po tayong maipanalo ang isang kandidato ng political party.
Opo. Maipanalo lang po? O ano po ba ang trabaho ng political operator sa Pilipinas? Pwedeng gumawa? Pwede din sumira?
Well, ang political operator to be successful, kailangan po yung kanyang sasamahan ay magtagumpay ang kanya pong laban at advokasya.
Okay. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po, kaibigang attorney.
Thank you, Senator Judge Padilla. The Senate President is recognized for his interjections.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Tutuloy ko lang po yung mga katanungan ng mga kasamahan natin kanina. Mr. Witness, yung babalikan ko po yung persons of interest. Itong person of interest, ito yung nakausap niyong actual killer?
Yung persons of interest po can be characterized na merong nakausap.
Hindi,
At
pero
merong-
yung kausap niyo, ito ba yung actual na nakontrata?
Well, persons of interest yun nga po, ang sinasabi nga po natin, ito yung maaring makapagturo. Hindi pa po natin nakausap ito lahat. Ang sinasabi ko po kanina, dun sa atin pong mga nakilala, meron na pong mga pamilya na gustong makipag-usap sa atin at magbigay ng impormasyon.
Oh, hindi.
Katunayan, nakakausap na po.
Hindi, but, so hindi ito yung actual na nakontrata?
Yun po yung dumadaan pa po sa proseso ng aming pong pag-iimbestiga.
Hindi, gusto ko lang by process of elimination. Yung nakausap niyo is hindi pa actual na nakontrata?
Hindi po natin masiguro doon po sa natitirang numero kung ang isa doon ay siya talaga ang actual na nakontrata or grupo po.
Yung ibang, nasabi niyo may iba rin ba kayong nakakausap pa?
Tama po.
Yung iba naman ay makakapagturo kung sino yung nakontrata.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Tama. At itong mga taong makakapagturo, ano po yung mga ebidensya na pwede niyong sabihin na credible itong mga taong to?
Doon na po pumapasok yung mga intelligence report po sa amin using our tools, the human intel and the
Give me an
officer's
example.
intel.
Bigyan lang kami ng concrete example na ito ay credible, pwedeng paniwalaan na magtuturo. Just give us an example.
Yung ginagamit po namin dito na human intel ay yung mga dati na rin po naming informants na nasa ground po na nakakakuha po ng mga intelligence na ipinapasa po sa amin.
So base ito sa human intelligence.
Human intel po. Tama.
Pero pwede ring mangyari na itong person of interest wala ring kalalabasan.
Posible po yun. Nangyayari po yan sa mga kaso po na...
So yung nasabi nyo kahapong 3 to 6 months, pwede rin after 6 months, 0. Walang kalalabasan.
That is a possibility, pero gaya nga ng sabi ko, because we were able to narrow down the numbers at meron pong strong indication right now, kasama na nga po yung hangarin ng mga pamilya nitong mga taong nakausap na tinitingnan natin, dito po namin ibinabase na mukhang lalabas po ang positibong resulta po.
So in other words, yung probability mataas.
Mataas po.
Gaano kataas? Bigyan nyo kami ng more or less lang in
Siguro
your own
po
opinion.
from the scale of 1 to 10, doon po tayo ngayon sa 6 to 7 po.
6 to 7 na merong kalalabasan na magtuturong may nakontrata.
Tama po.
Babalikan ko lang yung statement nyo na nakakausap nyo parati yung na-mention nyo yung Vice President Security Group. Tama
Kasama po yun sa isinama natin na pag-aaral po, pag-imbestiga.
Correct. Kasama ba sila sa persons of interest itong Vice President Security Group?
Meron
Kasi
pong...
nabanggit nyo kahapon na madali silang tawagin, nandun lahat. No? Kasama ba sila dito sa persons of interest ninyo?
Well,
Kung pwede nyong sabihin, I know you're investigating, kung pwede lang sabihin,
actually, meron pong personalidad na kasama ron.
merong kasama doon. But naintindihan ko na itong VP Security Group is also members of the government.
Yun nga po yung sinasabi ko that there are, actually doon po sa aming na-narrow down, there are many uniform who is in active service.
Na pwede rin palitan ng executive at any given time. Tama?
Tama po.
So paano, kung pwede silang palitan, paano sila nagiging persons of interest na merong potentially manggaling sa kanila itong pagkokontrata?
Yun po yung precisely the reason na ayaw po natin na yung term na tinatawag na masunog yung atin pong lead na kinukuha. Baka po maka-apekto pag nagkaroon po ng mga sudden po na galawan. So right now, yung tao po nating sinusundan at para madali rin po sa aming pag-monitor and surveillance, mas maigi po na nakapirmis po.
Sige. Maraming salamat, Ginong.
Salamat
Thank
po.
you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Senator Judge Pangilinan is recognized for his interjections. Thereafter, Senator Judge Go. Thereafter, Senator Judge Ontiveros. Senator Judge Pangilinan, you have 2 minutes. You may proceed when you're ready, sir.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. Ginoong witness, nabanggit ng ilang testigo bago sa iyo, no? Si Attorney Lotok, na in so many words, above his pay grade yung usapin ng interagency coordination. At sabi pa niya, maaaring ang direktor mismo, former director or current director ang makapagsasabi niyan. Nung sinabi niyong merong security threat na national security threat, nakipag-ugnayan ba ang NBI sa iba pang mga ahensya ng pamahalaan
Meron
para pag-usapan ito?
Meron po kaming tuloy-tuloy na ugnayan.
At sino-sino ang mga ahensya o alin dito sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan ang nakipag-ugnayan kayo?
Actually po, sinasabi nga natin, meron po kasing security cluster kung saan po natatalakay yung mga kailangan pong pag-usapan. So sa ngayon po, through the Office of the Executive Secretary, meron po ako mga pakikipag-usap dun po sa military units din po natin. If you will not mind, I will not mention the exact military unit po.
So there have been interagency coordination
Yes.
to assess and to address itong kinokonsidera ninyong national security threat.
Totoo po yan. Yes po.
Okay. Doon sa usapin ng pag-iimbestiga ninyo naman, nasabi ninyong may narinig kayong mga banta, napanood ninyo. Meron ba kayong na-monitor na nagbanta naman ang ating Pangulo bilang pag-retaliate doon sa nasabing banta ni Vice President?
Ibig sabihin po, banta ng Pangulo sa Vice Presidente?
Yes. Meron ba kayong na-monitor?
Wala po.
Kung meron man, hypothetically, tama ba yun?
Well, kailangan pong imbestigahan din kung meron pong ganung banta.
In other words, would you consider in a hypothetical situation revenge as justified if there is a threat to the president? He decides, he likewise publicly threatens whoever, not necessarily the vice president, whoever.
Palagi ko po hindi tama sapagkat hindi naman po ito isang justifying o exempting na circumstance pagka nangyari po yung pagbabanta. Lalong-lalo na po kung mataas na opisyal, hindi po pwedeng maging batayan ang kanyang paghihiganti para magbanta po.
So ang paghihiganti, self-defense ba yun?
Hindi po.
Hindi. In other words, hindi legal ang paghihiganti sa usapin ng kung ikaw ay tinakot o ikaw may banta laban sa'yo.
Hindi po.
Or kung ikaw ay, when is it allowed? When is self-defense a valid, how do you call it, assertion to allow for non-liability for a crime? Kailan?
Nakabalangkas po yan sa revised penal code. Kaya lang, hindi ko po kabisado. Pero kung meron po talagang yung talaga actual na ang isa pong malinaw ay nangyayari na at kailangan mo iligtas ang buhay, karangalan at property po ng ibang tao at lalong-lalo ng mga kamag-anak mo or kaibigan, doon po pumapasok yung self-defense na valid. May mga po siya, elemento po.
So, just to wrap up, so ang banta ng Pangulo, hypothetically, ay hindi tama.
Hindi po tama. Yan po ay magbabiolate kung hindi man po sa batas na umiiral na kodigo penal, doon po sa konstitusyon bilang isang pangulo ka, meron ka pong katungkulan na igalang ang batas, igalang ang konstitusyon at maging parehas po sa ibang tao po.
Maraming salamat. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Judge Pangilinan, for the information of Senator Judge Lapid. And those who might be interested, the name of the bell ringer is Anika. For easy reference, in case there are future reminders or complaints. Who is next? Senator Judge Go is recognized. You may proceed, sir, when you're ready, and you have 2 minutes, sir.
Salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. I just want to put it on record, given that the incident with the sheriff in July 2011 was discussed in detail during the cross-examination of the defense earlier. Just find it proper that I shed light on the matter without any bias, given that these are matters of fact and based on personal knowledge. Since nabanggit po at ipinakita po kahapon, wag mo nang pumatak yung oras, hindi pa naman tanong yun. Since, kasama na sir? Since nabanggit at ipinakita po kahapon ng insidente noong July 2011 involving the Vice President, then Mayor Sara Duterte, and a sheriff, I would like to examine the relevance and context of this incident in determining the pattern of behavior of the Vice President. May I ask the NBI Director, would you agree that determining the context of actions of individuals is important to have a fair and impartial investigations?
Yun po yung kasama doon, yung historical behavior to establish a pattern of violence.
Are you aware na may alam niyo ba yung konteksto at dahilan kung bakit nagawa ni then Mayor Sara Duterte yon? And are you aware na may demolition noong panahong yon involving 217 families who were facing eviction?
Tama po, ang pagkakaalam ko po, si Sheriff Abe ay dala-dala ang isang legal and valid order of demolition at gusto niyang ipatupad po yung demolition bilang pagganap po sa kanyang tungkulin po.
A simple search online would provide further details. No? Nagalit po si then Mayor Sara noon dahil nakiusap siya sa sheriff na kung pwede bang i-postpone ng ilang oras at i-delay mo ng eviction ng 217 na families. At naalala ko noon na meron pong pulisiya si former Mayor Rodrigo Duterte na ayaw niya pong magpaalis ng mga informal settlers pag walang malapitan, walang malipatan po yung mga illegal settlers. Kawawa naman po itong mga to na minadali silang paalisin. Is it correct that Davao City was then, sabi ko nga kanina, no? It was correct that Davao City was then dealing with the aftermath of a flash flood at that then Mayor Sara Duterte had come from attending to affected residents before proceed. Alam niyo ba ito?
Well, I was informed po kanina nung sinasabi yan.
Alam niyo bang 31 po yung namatay nung panahon yon?
Yun po, nalaman ko po kanina.
Actually, nandun po ako nung nangyari po yung insidente. At after 2 days, bumisita rin po yung si former Vice President Jojo Binay. Kasama niya yung anak niya na si Senator Nancy Binay. Mismo, witness po ako doon na talagang hirap ng sitwasyon. June 29 po yung nangyari na madaling araw, yung flash floods, at marami pong namatay, no, 28 to 31. At after a day, July 1, may schedule po yung sheriff na paalisin yung mga informal settlers na wala pang malilipatan. Ang maalala ko lang po na nakiusap si then Mayor Sara na kung pwedeng ipagpaliban muna ng ilang oras o araw yung demolish po sa mga illegal or informal settlers na walang malilipatan. Actually, sa totoo lamang po, since we are here for the search for the truth and justice, I believe it is incumbent upon me to put on record my recollection of what happened. Yun po yung maalala ko. Sabi ko nga na may pulisiya po yung syudad noon na kung walang malilipatan yung mga informal settlers ay wag munang paalisin. Kawawa po yung mga kababayan nating mahirap na wala pong malilipatan. Yun po ang konteksto ng nangyari. We are not justifying violence, but we are highlighting that context is important to have a fair assessment of the incident. Magkakaiba naman po yung nangyari nung 2011 sa mga pangyayaring iniimbestigahan niyo po dito. In fact, not just this incident, in our search for the truth, importante alamin natin ang dahilan at konteksto ng mga pangyayari upang maging patas, objective at makatarungan ang ating pagsusuri. Yun lamang po. Ubus na yung
Thank you.
oras ko. Last 2 minutes na po.
Thank you, Senator
Mr. President.
Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Salamat po. Tapos na ba yung oras ko?
Sabi ni Anika, tapos na daw.
Pagtabla yun sa basketball po, pagtabla sa last 2 minutes. May
Salamat
extension na 5 minutes po. Thank you, second round.
Thank you, Senator Judge. Go. Senator Judge Ontiveros is recognized. You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes as well.
Salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, nabanggit po kanina ang political speech at pag-express ng dissent sa gobyerno. Bilang abogado at public servant, kailan po sa tingin ninyo lumalampas sa kritisismo at nagiging national security concern?
Ang isa pong kritisismo ay lumalagpas na sa yung kalayaan magsalita kung meron na po tayong nalalagpasan at nababiolate na batas at lalong-lalo na po kung ito ay maghahantong sa kaguluhan at makukompromiso po ang ating national security. If our national security will be under attack, malaki po itong problema.
So kung may kritisismo pero meron din pong potensyal na lumikha ng kaguluhan o gawing insecure ang national security, lumalampas na po sa kritisismo, nagiging concern of national security ayon sa tingin po ninyo.
Tama po, binabantayan na po natin yan ng masusi at mas malapit na pagbabantay.
Alright, salamat po. Ibang paksa naman po, Mr. Witness. Sa lahat po ba ng sitwasyon kung saan nag-iba ang testimonya ng isang witness, masasabi po bang wala ng katotohanan yung pahayag nila?
Ang testimonya po na paiba-iba ay dyan po pumapasok yung intervention ng korte na nakikinig kung anong testimonya ang dapat pakinggan. At titingnan po dyan ano ba ang circumstances, bakit may ganong testimonya, bakit nagbago, at eventually kung ano po yung talagang nilagdaan at kinilala, ay importante po yun.
Speaking of yung circumstances, meron po bang mga valid reasons o meron po bang mga dahilan kung bakit nag-iiba ang testimonya sa karanasan at obserbasyon nyo?
Marami po. Marami pong may pagbabanta sa buhay ng tumitistigo o sa kanyang pamilya o sa kanyang katatayuan. Maaari din po na dahil may konsiderasyon na pinansyal, ay pwedeng magbagong testimonya. At meron pa po siguro na tinitingnan din kung nabasasakripisyo ang kanyang pagkatao, hindi naman yung banta sa buhay niya, kundi sa pagkakakulong or kung ano man, or meron pong taong gusto pong pagbigyan sa kanyang pagtistigo.
So bagamat syempre naman po naghihigpit ang korte sa mga usapin ng katotohanan at standards ng katotohanan, ay hindi po masasabi sa lahat ng pagkakataon na wala ng katotohanan ang isang testimonya o yun na
Tama po
hindi
yan.
na totoo ang isang testimonya o bahagi ng isang testimonya.
Tama po yan at lalong-lalo na kung may iba pong ebidensya, whether documentary or testimonial evidence din, pwede pong ibangga doon sa testimonyang sinabi para ma-attain po at makita kung kailangang tanggapin o paniwalaan ng testimonyang sinasabi po ng isang tao.
At doon po pumapasok yung wisdom ng korte, timbangin ang lahat at subukan pa rin gabayan ang buong proseso na buuin yung buong kwento at totoong kwento mula sa kahit pira-piraso.
Tama po yun, yung wisdom and of course guided po by the law, the letters and the spirit of the law po.
Of course. Huling tanong na lamang po, Mr. Witness. Sundan ko yung tanong kanina ni Senate President tungkol sa persons of interest. At ang punto po ninyo, tama po ba na pwedeng persons of interest ang kanyang mga security ni Vice President? Wrapping up, Mr. Presiding Officer, ilan po sa pagkakaalam nyo ang security complement ni Vice President?
Hindi ko po ako sigurado sa eksaktong numero but what I've seen from the news before it's 750 and it's reduced to 300 plus po.
300 plus ang security complement ni Vice President. Yun po ba ay kinonsidera ng NBI sa pag-characterize ng mga utterances ni VP bilang lampas sa kritisismo at papunta na or ganap na concern sa national security?
Ibabalik ko po ron sa ginamit namin po na 5 standards na ginagamit po ng Secret Service ng Amerika in National Threat Assessment, yung tinatawag na Protective Intelligence Threat Assessment Methodology po. Babalik ko po doon, isa po yan sa tinitingnan. Doon po pumapasok yan sa capacity o kapasidad ng tao po na nagsalita ng pagbabanta.
Okay. So yung fact na may higit 300 security complement ay iniugnay nyo doon sa isang standard ng capacity.
Tama po.
Alright. Salamat po, Mr. Witness. Salamat, Mr.
Thank
Presiding
you, Senator
Officer.
Judge Ontiveros. If there are no other senator judges, the chair will have a brief. Senator Judge Pia Cayetano is recognized for her interjection. You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes. I believe this is a continuation of the lady's interjection yesterday. Thereafter, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano.
Mr. Presiding Officer, for the witness. Sir, nung May 13, you're recorded as saying, katunayan, nakiusap nga po ako kay John Consulta na puntahan kami dito sa Sequoia Hotel dahil meron po kaming planning mula po pa kaninang umaga, and you went on to say nandun ka with all the deputy directors, etc. Do you confirm?
Well, nakausap ko po si John Consulta.
No, just confirm, sir. Did you say
Yes,
that
I
na
talked
nandun
to-
kayo sa Sequoia? Hindi, yun lang. Yung statement na
Haba
yun.
po kasi yung statement nyo.
I just
pasensya
need
na.
you to confirm, did you say that you were in Sequoia?
Yes, I talked to
Thank you.
to
So
John
you are
Consulta.
confirming. Okay.
Yes po.
And then later on, dinagdag nyo, wala kami sa Senado, we are on stand down because that's the instructions. Did you also say that?
Yes po.
Thank you. Meanwhile, in another interview, you then said, mayroon request si GM Veloso to help them secure the area kasi napapansin nila na magulo, labas-pasok. Nagpadala kaming ilan lang na ahente, parang 4 to 6 na tao na nag-iikot sa premises ng GIS. Hindi pumasok sa Senado. I am quoting Inquirer dated 13 May 2026. Did you say this?
Yes, sa GSIS po.
Okay, thank you. So, I asked now for the kind indulgence. May papa-flash lang ako. It's just a photo, dear colleagues, both parties. Paki-flash lang. So, sabi nyo nasa GSIS. You confirm na nasa GSIS yung
Tama
mga
po.
ahente mo. Pwede magpa-update sa technical what's going on. It's just a photo. I'm just showing the Senate website for the record. Senate website. Tapos po, nandito po sa right corner. Can you read it, sir? It says contact information. Can you read it?
Hindi ko po
Okay,
mabasa.
paabot ko sa page yung same thing. It is just the Senate website. Page, pakiabot. Thank you. Pakibasa lang po yung address ng Senado.
Contact information, GSIS Building, JW Jokno Building, Pasay City, 1300 Metro Manila, 632-8552.
Okay na po yung phone number, no need.
Apo.
So pakiulit, ano hong building?
GSIS Building.
Opo, kasi nag-iisa lang naman ho ang address namin. Umuupa po kami dito sa GSIS. Iisang building lang ho po yun. And for the record, kung saan nakita yung tao mo, likod lang po yun ng office ni Senator Loren Legarda. Nasa video po yun. I will not bother everyone with that. Kung gusto nyo, Presiding Officer, I can, but for now, I won't. Kasama po yun sa area na inuupahan ng Senado sa GSIS. We are paying rent for the information of all. So yan po ang gusto ko lang ma-establish. It seems kasi po na you swore an oath, no, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Is that correct?
Yes po.
Thank you very much. So, sa kaalaman po ng ating mga nanunood at masigasig na taga-subaybay ng mga kababayan natin, Rule 133 on the weight and sufficiency of evidence. Sabi sa Section 1, preponderance of evidence, in determining where the preponderance or superior weight of evidence on the issues involved lies, the court may consider all the facts and circumstances of the case, the witness's manner of testifying, their intelligence, and also their personal credibility. Furthermore, in Section 11 of Rule 132, a witness may be impeached by evidence that his or her general reputation for truth, honesty, or integrity is bad. So, nag-ring na yung bell. I will be loyal. I will follow this na lang. Pero may record pa sana akong papakita. If the body wants, I will show the video na sinabi din po ni NBI Director in interview, wala pong nasaktan, wala pong nangbugbog. But we have a video. Alam po ng lahat ng mga kasamahan natin na yung OSAA, yung aming pong personnel, binugbog. May video po tayo niyan. I leave it to the body. I leave it to the presiding officer if we want to take up the time of this court to show that. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Judge Pia Cayetano. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano is recognized for his interjections and interventions. And if there are no other Senator Judge that will do so, the presiding officer shall make his interjections. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano may proceed.
Before the questions, just two manifestations. No?
The gentleman may proceed with his manifestation.
First of all, to the NBI director, he looked at me when I smiled a while ago. I wasn't laughing at you or anyone. Nung sinabi mo lang 6'7" kasi, yung or 7'6", mga pamangking ko, basta't sinabing 6'7", nagtatawanan na.
Naintindihan ko po.
I
Nakita ko
hope
po
you
kayo
weren't,
doon.
yung iba kasi hindi, baka akala ko anong
I
ibig
understand
sabihin.
po.
And we're on
Yes
TV, so we can be on opposite sides, but we can be very professional, di ba?
Salamat
So,
po.
the second manifestation, Mr. President and Honorable Presiding Officer, much have been said about technicalities, humahaba to, may mga relevant, irrelevant. So I just want the prosecution and defense to know because we're gonna go on a short break. Short lang naman, SONA sa Monday kontra SONA sa Tuesday, makikita tayo sa Wednesday. Both sides, you're doing a good job. Both sides. I mean, the prosecution, your job is to prosecute, and the defense, your job is to defend. The onus is on us. May tinatawag na defense senator judge, may tinatawag na prosecution senator judge. Wala pa akong impeachment dito na hindi nangyari yan, 'di ba? Ang importante hindi lang yung resulta but yung proseso. And I always say democracy is messy. If you want a dictatorship, it's less messy, but it's a dictatorship. May problema. You want a democracy, it's not, 'di ba? Having said that, I have a lot of questions, but I want to show Senator Raffy Tulfo some good faith because he always shows me good faith when we're in the lounge. Hindi ko na itatanong today since I think in the next few weeks, madalas naman kami magkikita ni Director Matibag dahil marami siyang iniimbestigahan na kasama ako doon. So I'll be seeing you, Mr. Director. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. Senator Judge Amy Marcos is recognized for her questions and interjections. You may proceed, ma'am. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much to our presiding judge. Kumusta Attorney Mel, Congresswoman Ann, at sa lahat na narito. Itatanong ko lang, kasi sinusundan ko rin yung kwento ninyo, na kahapon sabi ninyo na 100% certain na si VP Sara contracted someone over the alleged plan to kill the president as well as 2 others. Tapos, ito naman, corroborative naman ito, nung sinabi ninyo, nung 29 April yata sa House of Representatives, na sinabi rin ninyo, meron na kaming leads at mukhang talaga yun ang findings. Kaya may grave threat at inciting. Tama ba na sinabi po ninyo to?
Tama po. Meron pong report po.
At alam din natin na nag-file na yung NBI February 2025 na ng inciting to sedition case against BP nung February last year. Ngayon, nagtatanong lang ako, 14 months later, as late as 29 April, the NBI still has not identified yung supposed said assassin. Does it mean na at that time na nagpila sila ng kaso ng inciting noong Pebrero na nakaraang taon, the NBI wasn't even sure if there was an actual assassin? Alam ko before your time to, no, Mel? Pero tinatanong ko lang, how can the NBI be sure there was really a contract if they can't even identify the said assassin?
Respectfully po, Your Honor, magkaiba po kasi ang elemento nung yung pong kaso ng grave threat saka inciting based on the investigation report at based po sa findings ng NBI noon, nakumpleto na po yung elemento ng grave threats saka ng inciting to sedition. Hindi naman po kailangang mahanap kung sino po yung kinausap na assassin. That is not an element for the filing of a complaint.
So ang sinasabi po ninyo, tama yung pagka-file, pero hindi kompleto yung mga findings dun sa affidavit of investigation dahil yan din ang sinabi ni NBI agent Attorney Longtok na nandito siya at pinahiwatig niya na siya ay lead investigator pero wala siyang personal knowledge of whether there was an actual assassin. So why is it that 14 months after filing of the cases, the assassin is yet to be named? At ngayon, humihingi pa kayo ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan para tuklasin kung sino nga yun.
Ganito nga po, yung pong grave threat at inciting to sedition, nandun na po sa DOJ yan. That is the subject of a resolution na dapat gawin ng DOJ. Magkaiba po yan, ihiwalay po natin. Ito po ang ating investigation dito is an investigation because of the continuing active and serious threat to the President amounting to the effect na yung national security is only being compromised.
Pero
so
hindi
doon po
po
natin
yan.
tinitingnan.
Hindi po yan ang sinabi ninyo eh. Kasi ang sinabi ninyo doon sa House of Representatives, sa Justice Committee, maliwanag sa amin nyo na meron kaming leads at mukhang ito na talaga ang findings. Kaya nga po nag-file ng kaso ng grave threat at inciting to sedition. Sabi ninyo, yan ang dahilan. That was your statement. Because if you stand by these words na may finding na talaga at yun ang dahilan kaya nagpila noong February, as early as February, the date that the NBI filed, the NBI already had findings that VP Sara spoke with an assassin. How come kayo ngayon sinasabi ninyo na wala naman nung panahon na yon? Ganon din ang sinabi ni Attorney Loto. So, hindi ko maintindihan ngayon, talaga bang may assassin na na-identify nung Pebrero o wala?
Wala pong na-identify nung February.
Bakit niyo sinabi doon sa House of Representatives na yung dahilan na nagpila ng kaso kasi meron na kayong assassin?
That is totally magkaiba po na issue. Again, babalik po ako.
Pareho yung issue kasi yun din ang inaalam ng Justice Committee noon eh. At ang liwaliwanag na sabi niyo, yung dahilan na nakapagpila na sila ay dahil natuklasan na yung assassin.
Wala po akong sinabi doon na natuklasan. I also mentioned at that time that there are persons of interest. Again, we have to go back po na yung inciting to the sedition and grave threat.
Transcript kasi.
Okay po, tama naman po yung binabasa
Kaya
niyo.
nga nag-file ng kaso kasi meron na kaming leads.
Well,
ang liwanag ng pagkasabi ninyo eh.
We are referring, may lead na nga po, ibig sabihin, yung pong grave threat, completed na eh. Meron ng threat. In fact, tumatawid na po tayo sa merong kinausap. And we are already talking about na doon sa admission ni mismo ni Vice President Sara na meron siyang kinausap na papatay at pumayag yung papatay.
Parang napakaliwanag nung sinabi niyo noon at mas malabo di hamak ngayon. Ngayon, bakit kinailangan pa mag-issue ng AO11 kung talaga namang continuing investigation? Dahil ba ito sa April 12 yung sinasabi niyong Rage Coalition?
Kasama po yan, paulit-ulit ko pong sinasabi na there is a 5 points na tinignan po natin na ginagamit po ng isang social
Yes, we're
service.
aware of that. The sexual, economic, etc. Alam naman natin yon kasi yan din ang gamit ng US, di ba?
Tama po. Kaya po, merong ongoing investigation. Sinabi ko na yung threat is serious, continuing, and active, na ito po ay tumatawid na rin to the level of national security.
Kung talagang may pattern of violence, doon sa Rage Coalition launching, andun ba si VP Sara?
Wala po.
Ganun pala eh. As a matter of fact, she wasn't even there. Siya ba nagsalita? Siya ba nagsabi nun?
Si Mayor Basti po.
Are you implying na may conspiracy kay VP Sara at Mayor Baste to have the president killed?
Yan po yung aming tinitingnan. Kanina po, tanong ni Senator Ping Lacson, tinitingnan po natin kung mayroong sabwatan po na nangyayari.
May katibayan ba tayo dito sa conspiracy? Dahil matindi ang pinag-aralan nyo bilang abogado. Sapat ba ito para ipakita na may conspiracy dun sa dalawa?
Yun po din yung sagot ko kanina kay Senator Ping Lacson, kaya po hindi pa nakasuhan sapagkat tulad po ng mga kaso na pumapasok at alam po ng mga abogado na conspiracy is sometimes harder to prove than the crime itself. That's why we have to make a case build-up para masiguro po natin ng isasampang kaso
Sa
ay
madaling
lulusot.
sabi, wala pa pong katibayan ng conspiracy.
Yun po yung tinitingnan nga nating anggulo kaya
Yun nga,
tinitingnan
pero
mga
sa
ebidensya.
ngayon, habang tayo ang naglilitis dito, wala pa.
Kung meron na po, na-file na po namin yan. Kailangan po lumusot ito under Memorandum Circular number 20 of the Department of Justice.
Ngayon,
Reasonable certainty of conviction.
alam natin yan. Ang sabi ninyo, yung Special Task Force, ano ang gagawin ng Special Task Force kung natumbok na rin yung assassin nung Pebrero pa? O
Then-
natumbok na ninyo ngayon na nasa ilan na na-interview ninyo? Ano ang gagawin sa mga assassin na to?
Then, kailangan po natin silang imbestigan at kausapin kung gaano kalawak para malaman po natin kung huminto na ba ang threat sa presidente sapagkat alamin natin kung sino po ang makakausap.
Dahil maraming nagtatanong kung bakit pa kailangan mag-case build-up samantalang eto na tayo sa impeachment trial, eto na tayo na wala pang actual assassination, kaya hindi naman maintindihan kung ano pa ang silbi ng Special Task Force.
Alam po ninyo, yung pong dito sa impeachment, magkaiba po yung requirement eh. Hindi naman po natin kailangan pang ipresenta kung sino yung kinausap na assassin. Ang importante lang po rito ay yung admission mismo ng Vice Presidente na humanap siya ng mamamatay para patayin ng Presidente at ayun ay pumayag. Doon po papasok na yan. Dahil po respectfully, di po sa impeachment court, hindi naman po necessary na may criminal conviction kaya po inilatag po yan kung ano-ano yung mga basehan po.
Kindly wind up,
Sa
Senator
ating
Judge Amy.
presiding judge at pati na rin kay Attorney Matibag, ang ating direktor, sabi po ninyo na matutumbok ninyo ito sa loob ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan. Kung maaari, sabihin na ninyo sa amin, pwede naman i-disclose kung tutuusin at sasampahan naman yan ng demanda through regular filing, hindi dito sa impeachment. At di naman siya subject of arrest for inquest proceeding. Bakit hindi sabihin? Or kung maaari, bumalik na lang kayo in 3 to 6 months. Pwede bang i-request yun kapag meron na kayong natuklasan at napunteriyang assassin?
Again, ang sagot ko po dyan, iba po naman yung national security protection at impeachment. Dito po sa impeachment, yung sinasabing betrayal of public trust ay pumasok na po dahil meron pong sinumpang tungkulin ng ating Vice Presidente to protect and defend the Constitution, execute the law, do justice to everyone, and consecrate herself to the service of the nation.
Alam po natin
Yung
yan.
pong ginawa niya po, papasok po yun sa betrayal of public trust kasi enforce the law, do justice. Pero ito po, execute the law, ito execute the president po eh.
Alam po natin yan, pero binubuo natin ang mga elemento ng grave threats at inciting to sedition. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Judge Amy. Any other Senator Judge who wishes to make an interjection? Unless Senator Judge will have some interjections then. Just a few questions. Anika, kindly turn on the timer too. Sure that I'm within the time. Director Matibag, ito ba ang unang pagkakataon na may binuong task force para mag-imbestiga sa mga banta laban sa Pangulo?
Sa pag-aalala ko po, opo.
Sa kasaysayan ng NBI?
Based on the records turned over to me, wala po.
Hindi po ba normal, regular at ordinaryo lamang na magkaroon ng banta? Ang Pangulo, ikalawang Pangulo, o sino mang mataas na opisyal, o sino mang mayaman dito sa ating bansa.
Tama
Kaya kami mga bodyguard sila, di ba?
Tama po yan. Araw-araw po ay alam natin na may threat pero magkakaibang level po.
Tama po yun. At kung may mga threat tulad nito at kung ito ang unang pagkakataong ginawa ito ng NBI, ang humahawak ng mga bantang ito ay ang PSC na o PSG dati. Tama po ba?
Tama po. Kaya po, meron po kaming coordination po.
Yan. Tutumbukin ko na po yung mga punto ko para hindi ako lumampas sa oras na sinusundan ng lahat. Sa inyong investigasyon, may bayad po ba yung kinausap ni VP Sara? Kung 100% certain po kayo na may kinausap siya para patayin di umano ang Pangulo, may bayad po ba yun o libre?
That is the part of the investigation po that we have to establish po.
So sa ngayon, hindi pa po niyo sigurado kung pagkakaibigan lang o samahan lang o may bayad yung usapang yun?
Tama po, but we consider every possibilities po.
Ngayon, would it matter, Director Matibag, kung sino yung sinabihan niya? Kasama po sa 5 yung pamantayan na binanggit po ninyo ay identity of person involved and capacity.
Tama.
Halimbawa po, kung ang kinausap na ikalawang Pangulo ay kaklase niya sa college na nagtatrabaho sa call center, relevant po ba't mahalaga yon? Kaugnay ng capacity, hindi ba? At kaugnay ng identity ng taong kinausap.
That will be considered in the investigation po.
So ibig sabihin, hindi po yun babagsak sa valid threat, hindi po ba?
Hindi po natin alam at kailangan pong alamin yung kung ano yung pag-uusap o ano po ang mga konsiderasyon.
Pero base sa inyong karanasan po, kung retired police, retired military, active police, marahil. May punto kayo, hindi po
Mas
ba?
malaki po ang posibilidad.
Pero kung walang military background, walang background kaugnay sa paggamit ng anumang uri ng armas o walang background kaugnay sa anumang karahasang nagawa na niya sa kapwa niya, may basehan din po yun para sabihin yung kabaligtaran, hindi po ba?
Titingnan po natin, tama po.
At bilang panghuling katanungan, ito pong inyong task force ay binuo para imbestigahan ang mga banta laban sa Pangulo. Wala na po itong kinalaman sa ikalawang Pangulo mismo kaugnay ng mga kasong isinampa na laban sa kanya na grave threats at inciting to sedition.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Director Matibag. Unless there are any other... Senator Judge Legarda, I'm sorry, you are recognized. I thought there was no other Senator Judge. That's why I already interjected. Senator Judge Legarda for her interjection. Senator Soto, you have 2 minutes, ma'am.
I guess I'm the last to ask. I don't know why the majority senators, Macho Block, don't want me to ask simple questions on national security. Keep on laughing. No, this is levity aside. It's a barkada talk. It's very simple. I studied national security. I'm a graduate of my master's in national security. I was discussing it with former General Lacson, Senator Lacson, because the words national security have been used many times in this hall in the past few days. So my questions are very simple to, just for the record, he's my friend, my compadre, Director Melvin Matibag, and Congresswoman Ann. Okay. So hindi po dahil nagpapalambot ako dahil kumpare ko siya, gusto ko lang ipahayag ang simpleng katanungan dahil madalas niyong ginagamit, national security. At alam to ni Melvin, I'm a national security, I won't say expert, graduate. I studied it. Batay po sa inyong kaalaman, records o ebidensyang nakalap, meron bang mas malawak na koordinasyon sa isang interagency task force o coordinated action sa pagitan ng inyong bureau, ang NBI, ang Presidential Security Command or Group, perhaps ang Philippine National Police, or even the National Security Council or ang NSA, at iba pang mga ahensyang may kaugnayan dahil sa mga alleged na pahayag ng ating Vice Presidente?
Meron po, ako po'y meron makikipag-usap po sa mga... Sa PSG po, may coordination kami. Katunayan, yung pong aming ibang inaksyonan ay base po sa intel report po sa amin ng PSD, ng Presidential Security Command. At meron din nga po ako, nabanggit ko na kanina, pakipag-ugnayan po sa military at sa security cluster through the Executive Secretary po.
So, all of these discussions, are there issuances, memoranda, notices, minutes, directives, reports, official documentation na nagpapatunay sa naturang coordination ng task force?
Yung pong aking mga report ay akin pong isinusumite through the Office of Executive Secretary po.
How long have you had this interagency task force, and is there such a name of a task force? Where was it? Kailan po tinatag? Kailan natapos? Was there a terminal report? And would you consider it, you've always said it's a national security concern.
Well, there's no specific task force, but the coordination, as I said, is to the Executive Secretary, but we are also coordinating with the Presidential Security Command and on the military group po.
Mr. Presiding Officer, would the reports of the interagency task force na tinatag ng NBI be given to the body so that we have an idea of the investigations conducted by the NBI? Has it been submitted?
Let the presiding officer make a distinction. Again, the court should be a passive body. We should be receiving evidence through the
Through the prosecutor or the defense?
through the
yes.
counsel
Through the
of the
counsels.
parties. Unless someone would present it, the court should simply await its submission, if at all, through the parties.
So my question would be, was this submitted as part of your evidence, the terminal report and the investigations conducted by this interagency body? Because it's the first time I'm actually realizing that there was such an interagency body and that this was actually discussed in the National Security Council.
Well, sabi ko nga po through the executive secretary, we have been making reports, and for reasons that I mentioned yesterday that I cannot give the reports for that are confidential in nature, ay hindi ko po ito may bahagi sa impeachment court po na ito.
So wala pong pinabigyan na maski anong mga kopya ng reports, even just a summation of all these investigations.
It was given po to the executive secretary po.
And this court has
Wala po.
no copy of it. Therefore, I would terminate my questions here. And if we don't have a copy of that report, then we leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Legarda. If there are no other senator judges who wishes to make interjections, is there anything that either of the counsel for the parties wish to state before we adjourn? Attorney Binluan, I see you standing up.
None at this time, Your Honor.
If there are none, Chair would now like to dispose of some administrative matters. First, the Chair would like to remind the parties in connection with the conference for the marking and/or transfer of markings and comparison of video exhibits. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Rector Room, this shall proceed. Senator Judge Soto, what is your pleasure, sir?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, kind sir. Won't we dispose of the witness first?
You're correct, sir, Your Honor. If there are no further questions, Director Matibag, you're excused, sir. Thank you for your time, thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for your patience as well.
Salamat din po.
You're
Magandang
excused,
hapon
sir.
po.
Thank you po. Magandang hapon po. To restate, the conference tomorrow at 10 a.m., the parties are duly reminded at the Rector Room. Number 2, subpoena shall be issued. The clerk of court is directed to issue a subpoena to Ms. Violeta Constantino, former Land Bank manager, and Ms. Nenita Camposano, former branch manager also of Land Bank, for the resumption of trial on Wednesday, July 29 at 10 a.m. unless the court issues a subsequent order recalling or changing the date of the same. And one last point administratively, Chair would like to remind the parties to this case of Article 18 pertaining to the rule on making comments or disclosures on the part of the prosecutors, counsel for respondent, and their witnesses. I say this because I noticed that Attorney Tolosa, who is a registered counsel for the panel of prosecutors, and Attorney Poa, who is a registered counsel for the respondent, are both serving as the spokespersons as well. Thus far, both have been very careful, but as the trial goes on, it might take its toll with respect to the spokespersons and counsels at the same time being able to distinguish between the merits of the case and purely procedural observations and/or facts. So you might want to consider, in order to give a freer hand, nominating a spokesperson that's purely a spokesperson that is not limited by the rules of the impeachment court with respect to what he or she can say. Because for your information, the court is also will be monitoring the statements being issued by the counsel, by the counsels for the parties, for the information and guidance of the counsels. And since this is the last witness of the panel of prosecutors for Article 4. Chair would like to inform the Senator judges that the pretrial order allocated 11 days for the presentation of this article by the panel of prosecutors. They actually consumed only 6 days given the withdrawal of certain witnesses. We consumed 3 days for oral arguments on the subpoena, on the interjections and debates with senators, and on the opening statements of the parties. A total of 9 days have been spent, therefore, since we started. So we are still ahead of 2 days based on the timetable given in the pre-trial order. I hope we can be able to continue along these lines. Yes, counsel for the respondent.
Your Honor, maybe inquire of the order of presentation for Wednesday next week, Your Honor.
It will be Ms. Violeta Constantino, as I understand, and then Ms. Nenita Camposano.
We confirm, Your Honor.
In that order, Your Honor.
We confirm, Your Honor.
In that order. Any other matters? There being no other matters? Yes, counsel?
No other matters. One other matter, Your Honor. So more than one witness per day.
We will be issuing the subpoena for both in case I have no idea if it's going to be a short, direct, and cross and or recross. So we shall see.
We will
Kindly
submit,
prepare for the 2 witnesses on that day. If there are no other matters, Chair hereby yes, Senator Judge Pia is recognized, ma'am.
Do I assume, given that we seem to be continuing in the same manner of presentation of witness, that I understand the presiding officer discussed with counsel about changing the order? Is that still on the table, just so we can also prepare?
It is, but we will find out by early next week,
Next
as intimated by the parties.
Okay.
That's why the chair earlier
Okay.
stated that the subpoena shall issue unless it will be recalled, as may be dictated by the circumstances. We will discuss it once there is agreement among the parties. Absent one, then we shall proceed as scheduled. There being no other business, trial is hereby adjourned until, kindly take note, 10 a.m. of Wednesday, July 29, 2026.